Prayer list. Personal prayer partners. A lot of ways you can do personal prayer partners. One way we've done that, we would say to the congregation, everybody that would like to have a personal prayer partner, write your name on this piece of paper and bring it forward. They bring it forward, they'd put it on a table or put it in a basket, and then we would say to them, now come pass back by again, and draw out a name. If you draw out your own name, put it back in, draw out a different one. And that way everybody, they have a name of somebody they're praying for. Concert prayer, concerts of prayer, prayer appointments. Prayer appointments is where it's actually set up to where, call us at the church to schedule a time for us to pray with you. Prayer retreats. God encounter retreats. I love doing prayer retreats. I love doing God encounter retreats. A God encounter retreat is where you have people come together for 2 or 3 days, and stay overnight, free from distractions, and you have brief little teachings, little segments where you're addressing some area of spiritual development, some area sometimes of purity, some area of healing, different emphases, and then you have a time for prayer later where people pair off with a prayer partner and they pray for one another around that area of need. And there's time of confession involved, and a lot of healing takes place in this. And maybe we'll share more on another occasion, another video clip on how this works. A great thing. I love to facilitate God encounter retreats and prayer retreats. Love to do this type of thing. Prayer-centered ministry, a prayer chain, praying the scriptures, the Lord's Prayer, Lectio Divina, prayer bulletin board, arrow prayers. Arrow prayers is just spontaneous, where you may be out walking, or you may be out driving or whatever. You may be in the mall, wherever there's people. You may be at a concert. You may be at the stadium. But you're just firing silent prayers, usually, or prayers under your breath. Lord God, just touch this person, touch that person. I pray these kind of prayers for the closing credits when I'm watching movies. Just, Lord, just let names that are scrolling by me just pop right into my spirit, and I'm going to start praying for these people. I'm praying for the producer, I'm praying for the actors, I'm praying for the electrician that worked on the set, whatever their name is. I'm just praying for them as those names are coming by. That's a form of arrow prayers. Firing them away. Praying the news. Rather than read the newspaper, why not pray the newspaper? Use it as a prayer list. Or as you're watching CNN or Fox News, whatever network you're watching, the news item comes up, you begin to pray about that thing. Prayer walls, letters to God, singing to God, praying with a map from the nations or over a globe. Telephone prayer ministry. Prayer on the spot. What do I mean by that? How many of you have had people come up to you and they will talk to you about a need they're having, and you might even say, well, I'll be praying for you. And you walk away from them and you forget about it. Why not develop the habit of praying with them right then and there? Hey, can we just pause right now and just, I'd like to pray with you right now while it's fresh on my mind. Instant messenger, text messaging and chat room prayer. With the advent of the internet, it's open possibilities. This may be hard to believe, but I remember one time someone was trying to message me with AOL Instant Messenger. They were expressing a prayer request, and I began to respond with a prayer. And as I was typing out the prayer, the words of the prayer in response back to them, the power of God just settled mightily upon me and upon that person on the other end, and God touched them in a mighty way. Prayer request envelope. Now here's one that requires some explanation. I didn't come up with this one. One of the ladies in our church, she may even be watching this clip. She's pretty faithful to visit the website. But she had made this envelope out of fabric, really. More of a pouch than anything else. And people, what we would do, we would pass this through the congregation and invite people, put in this envelope or in this pouch a slip of paper. You can just tear it off the back of the bulletin or write it on an index card, whatever you've got that you can just write it on. The name of somebody you want us to be praying about, confidentially praying about. And we'll be doing that. And mainly our emphasis at that time was praying for lost people, unsaved people. And we would say that as the envelope comes, if you have something to put in it, put it in. If you don't, pause and just pray over that person. And then after you've prayed quietly over, not over the person, but over the pouch, the whole envelope, then after you've prayed, pass it on to the next person. And through the whole service, that envelope would be passing. Even while the preaching was going on, the singing and everything, that envelope was making its route. And then during the Monday morning prayer time, the prayer group that met at that time would take that envelope and they would dump out those prayer requests and they would just pray over them at that time. And then afterwards they'd put them back in and that would get circulated the next Sunday. A prayer request box that could work in a similar way to the prayer request envelope, prayer request cards. Parting prayer. What do I mean by parting prayer? Why not make it a habit that every time somebody comes to visit you, they come to visit your office, that before they leave, you make it a habit. Before you leave, may we have prayer. They come to visit your house. Before you leave, may we have prayer. Rat race prayer. I'm talking about the rat race in the traffic. You're driving, things are frustrating, you want to mumble under your breath, you may even want to honk your horn at somebody. Why not make it a habit to pray for those people? Not just when there's a trouble on the road and there's aggravation on the road, but as you're driving along, you see cars, and Lord, I just pray for that family that just drove by me from Michigan. Lord God, I pray for these people from Florida in front of me, Lord. And bedtime prayer, mealtime prayer, restaurant prayer, keeping a prayer diary, having a prayer circle, popcorn prayer, prayer around the altar, all kinds of possibilities for prayer ministry. I wish I had time to elaborate on every one. There is a download available from drawnear.org on our website that details these planned opportunities, these multiple and varied planned opportunities for prayer. I'd encourage you to download that and make use of it. The third intentional process in cultivating a culture of prayer is to provide focused leadership. Focused leadership. As a leader, set the example. You be a praying person. You can't fake a prayer life. You know that. So set the example. Focused leadership also needs to bring instruction. We need to teach people to pray. The disciples once said to Jesus, Lord, teach us to pray. Prayer is not a natural thing that people automatically know how to do. They have to be taught. An example has to be set. Think in terms of classroom instruction. Think in terms of mentoring people, apprenticeship. Let them pray with you as you're praying with other people. It's all part of cultivating the culture of prayer. Focused leadership brings inspiration. One way to inspire people in prayer is to celebrate answered prayer. Why not make it a regular part of our worship services or in our small group meetings? We're going to just take a few moments here to celebrate some answers to prayer that we've heard about this week. You might involve the actual people that were involved in receiving the answer to prayer and let them give a real brief testimony, and then together you celebrate that. You're helping to cultivate a culture of not only of prayer but of expectation with people when you do that with the congregation. Organization and administration. Focused leadership involves some organization and administration. As an intercessor, you may not necessarily feel that you're gifted in the administrative end of things. If that's the case, then bring alongside yourself someone who is gifted in organization and administration. When prayer ministry becomes organized and there's some administration involved, what that does, it helps the congregation to see, hey, prayer, our leadership team here really sees that prayer is important. Look at what they've done. It's organized. It's being properly administered here among us. So that's all I have to share with you right now about cultivating a culture of prayer. Please return here to drawnear.org, and there'll be other presentations that we'll share with you along the way. May God bless you in your journey.